Intertalk Radio. You're in to all things music.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Changing Stage radio show, powered by Intertalk Radio. You're in to all things music, and it's a cool day because it's a special broadcast today with me and Mr. Florentino, as I usually are on Fridays, but we have a very special guest today, Miss Starr Ackerman from IK Multimedia. Hey, Starr, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
There you go. That's an awesome name, by the way. You can't help but be a star with that name, right?
Well, I guess I'm going to have to blame it on my parents because when I was very young, Starr is not the coolest name to have. But
Really?
as an adult, it's awesome. Yeah.
Well,
when you're a kid, it could be anything from constellation to constipation, things like that. So a lot of hazing.
I'm with you. Well, Florentino, it sounded very, it didn't have like a strong, like, my name's David or, Bill or something like that. It's just like, it's too flowery. So I'm with you on that 100%. I love the name. I think that's awesome. I just, and it's unique. You spell it with 2 R's.
Actually, I'm the only Starr Ackerman in the world.
So it's
at least on social media platforms. I've never seen another one.
I can't say that I've seen another one either. Although I think Starr Ackerman spells her name with she's a bass player with 2 R's. But with that said, we're not talking about bass players today. We're talking about people who use electronic gear. And you are and I don't know the official title, but you're like the guru of all things marketing over at IK Multimedia. Tell us a bit about your role over there and what you do.
Well, I've been with IK Multimedia for 12 years, but we are 21 years in the business. I was one of the first people in the marketing department in the United States, and as my role has changed over time, I've gotten to be more specialized. So now I am the United States, Canadian, and South American artist relations and public relations manager.
Wow. Okay. So so guys, don't like hit her up all at once, but you are the one who deals with people who are going to be endorsed, sponsored, or otherwise connected to IK Multimedia. Is that correct?
That is correct. So if an artist called in, for example, a famous one or a not so famous one, they would direct the call to me. And if a media inquiry came in, like such as yourself, they would direct the call to me. Yeah. But in the perfect world, my position is to get the artist to speak to the media for us.
Exactly.
Because honestly, musicians trust other musicians before they trust manufacturers.
Well, that makes sense. You always trust your peers to give you the inside scoop, good or bad. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's definitely the case. And I can say the same thing. I think the first piece of software that I had was Amplitude from you folks. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. A friend of mine suggested it because we were doing a lot of, of basically just plug the guitar right into the system and you record that. And it's to me, it's still the top of the top when it comes down to emulation as well as effects and all that other fun stuff. That's what we use to generate that guitar sound. That for everybody that was listening, we used Amplitude to give it that crunchy sound. We didn't even use the amp at all. We just used Amplitude. So
let me give you a little bit of history on Amplitude. Actually, we are celebrating 15 years of Amplitude this year. Yes,
that's crazy.
And
I didn't even think they had amp simulation 15 years ago. I don't remember, but cool.
And also, Steve Jobs, when he introduced the iPad in his keynote speech, he had Amplitude on his iPad.
That's right. I do remember that. I remember that. And I was working for Microsoft at the time, and I was not happy with that. No, I'm just joking. But no. I was happy for you guys. Everyone over here always gives me a hard time about being the not so, being the Microsoft fanboy. But that's cool. Was that the first product? I don't think that was the first product, though, was it?
No, actually, the very first product that IK came out with was called Groove Maker.
Okay.
But T-Rex was the first popular product, and that's a mixing and mastering plug-in software, and also it was a standalone product. Yep.
That's what I use to master with as well. So I use a lot of the gear. So it's been a blessing. One of my production guys came in and said, "What is that?" I said, "T-Rex. We need to get you guys some over there." I'm the only one I'm the only one blessed to have it on my computer right now.
Well, I might be able to help your friends out over there.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I think we as a production team can definitely use a little support that way. I have I just have the standard versions. I haven't gotten a lot of the other extra plugins yet, but I'm gonna, for whatever my voice is worth out there, folks, I 100% stand behind these products because they're amazing. They really do emulate their physical cousins, if you will. Just stellar, So, and they were smart enough to go out and hire somebody named Starr to be their marketing voice. So that's good. So I give it to them 100%. So, I want to jump back into that though, with you before we kind of get back more into the company stuff, because the network's all about people in the music industry, and not just musicians, but all types, people who do radio shows, people who do marketing, and then we have a lot of the people looking at how they can have relevant careers in this business, and you having such a prominent place with this company. How did you get there, and how did you get started? Were you a musician? Was this something that you said this is where I want to go, or you just kind of find your way there through a series of events?
Well, honestly, the company is about 95% musicians, and that would be me included. So we are, and our company motto is IK Multimedia, musicians first. And that's because first we are musicians, and then second, we are business people. So even the CEO of our company is a guitarist, and the CTO of our company is a bassist. The CEO is Enrico Iori. Yeah. And so all of your dream guitar products coming from the CEO's brain first. So, and then all of your dream bass products coming from the CTO. So.
Yeah. Well, and I play bass.
So, yeah. So
I'm a bass player. My CTO, or actually COO is the correct term, but he does most of the technology side of things. He's our guitar player. He's the one who played the lead track that you heard on the opening of our show, and that's really cool. And I think that's important because the last thing you want to do is buy gear from somebody who's not a musician. Although Leo Fender wasn't a musician, so I can't really say that. I would own a Fender, but yeah, that's
a little bit more about that though. You said you're a bass player. IK Multimedia came out with the very first bass software called Ampeg SVX, and I'm sure you're familiar with the term Ampeg.
Oh yeah. I have
the IK Multimedia.
Yeah, I have the model in the 2-amp.
Right on. So IK Multimedia, our niche in the market has always been taking the greatest hardware and turning it into software, and being able to work with the other manufacturers to have the brand names like Ampeg and Fender and Marshall and you name it. Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
We have Amplitude Jimi Hendrix. So that was, we worked with Experience Hendrix, Janie Hendrix, actually Jimmy's sister, and had everybody sign off on all of the sounds from the original discography. So if you have Amplitude Jimi Hendrix on your iPhone or your iPad or your Mac or PC, you can load in any of the songs and have exactly the same tones that Jimmy used. So, for example, if you wanted to play All Along the Watchtower, you'd have that exact same tone. But, we can't teach you how to play. We can just hope that we can give you the tone.
And it's so amazing how honestly, we get huge compliments on our guitar sounds, and what kind of amp did you use? Amplitude, so it's it makes things simpler. Now, there's places, and there's definitely some, there's some ambiance that you get when you use a real amp, mostly for the playing side, because you can hear and feel it. You get the actual the vibrations of the amp if you're semi close to it. But if you know what you're doing, you already have it in mind, and you're not trying to you don't need that vibration. It really is. It's amazing what you can get from a sound, and and you guys have so many other products. That's just it astounds me. The brains over there. How many? If you don't mind me asking, how many people are on your design teams?
I'm not exactly allowed to give you that information about our developers, but I can say that there are many.
Okay, that's kind of what I was trying to allude to. It's not just one guy, although you're probably your principals are out there, sculpting that out. But with all the different things that you've come up with, and and obviously it started off with software, but you've moved into so many other different areas. You've got interfaces, controllers, microphones. We actually have one of our hosts uses the. I want to say it's not the iRig. I'm drawing a blank here, but it's little speakers the iLoud.
The iLoud speaker. Yeah. We have two iLoud products. One is a 40-watt Bluetooth speaker that's also a guitar amplifier. It has an input for really a 1/4 inch, so you could plug a mic into it. You could plug a guitar or bass into it, and run it. Also run it through Amplitude and have it work as an amplifier. Or it's just a straight up Bluetooth speaker, and someone just actually used it. A mixing engineer just did a Wiz Khalifa song using the original iLoud 40-watt Bluetooth speaker to mix a Wiz Khalifa record, and it just went out to radio. So. Our newest version of that is called the iLoud Micro Monitor, and it is a stereo pair of reference monitors. And every single person that I have sent them to or who has bought one, their jaws drop. So, talking about some of the best names in the industry, Eddie Kramer.
Oh, yes.
He's mixed everything from Hendrix to Zeppelin to you name it. I sent a pair to him, and he actually called me. Before I was a business person, I actually worked in recording studios and had gone to recording school. And I learned about Eddie Kramer in school. So when he called me, it was like, wow, oh my God. And he called me just to tell me how great the iLoud micro monitors were. And that's when I knew we really had a hit.
Yeah, that's cool. For the people that are trying, may or may not know who Eddie is. Eddie was the one who basically sculpted the Hendrix studio sound, and actually with John Storick designed Electric Lady over in New York, which is still one of the top studios in the world. And obviously he's went on to do so many more musicians. I think Zeppelin, and his list goes on and on. But he's iconic when it comes down to engineering. So that is a huge compliment that he called you guys. And yeah, obviously if he says it's good, it's going to be a hit, because there's no way that he's going to endorse or even just take the time to call somebody about a product that isn't going to be smashing. So very cool on you guys.
Yeah, and the iLoud micro monitors are just they're very low priced speaker reference monitors, and they're made for portability. So at $300. He's got them sitting next to some really expensive speakers and some photos that were sent over. I was like, wow, he's using these, and he had all the rest of the engineers come in from the other rooms and listen to them, and they all, just like I said, their jaws dropped.
Yeah. So, awesome. So, with that said, the heart and spirit of the company, the principles, why did they start the company? I know that they did it with in mind to create technology that would really, bring out the heart and soul of some classic gear. But, what kind of got them started down this road? Because it's not an easy one. I mean, most people, who try to do, gear or software company manufacturing, it doesn't always go well. So you guys have done extremely well. How did it get going, and what was the passion behind it all?
Well, as I said before, the CEO, Enrico Iori, and the CTO, Davide Barbi, they were making music together. And one of them came up with the idea to try and build an amplifier. And then the other one said, hey, how about if we turn this into software? And so they started taking apart things and turning them into software. And
were they programmers, or were they...
Well, they were the brains behind it.
Okay.
And then what happened was, where they're from in Italy, in Modena, Italy, it's a place of craftsmanship. So, and it's really, they take things really seriously in Modena. So some of the brands that come out of Modena are Lamborghini, Maserati, and the list goes on. So you can tell, craftsmanship is very important there. And so, but honestly, it's all about the sound. They were musicians, and they wanted everything to sound absolutely great and be usable. As musicians tend to not read directions, things like that. Just plug and play. Yeah. So the software was the original. Let's just play. I want to be able to play. I don't want to have to read directions. And then when it boiled down to taking control of the hardware market for iOS. We were one of the first people to come out with, a usable guitar and bass interface for your iPhone. We were the first to come out with the first microphone that you could plug into an iPhone. And we have, I think, 22 or 23 firsts that were never done before. So, because we're not a microphone company,
But you're definitely an interface company for sure.
Yeah, but USA Today just came out with a shootout of, 3 different microphones. And, and some of these, I'm not going to name the competitor names, but these are microphone companies. And then, of course, who wins in the end? The iRig Mic HD wins it again for podcasting and for vlogging and for doing and that's USA Today's Jeff Graham. And he's been using the same microphone now for almost 5 years.
Awesome. Hey, we've got about, I was going to say 30 seconds left, but it came in quick. That is the first segment. It went quick, huh? We just got started.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more segments to go, so people stay tuned. We are here with Starr Ackerman from IK Multimedia, the awesome company that makes great software and gear. We'll be right back in a few short minutes to pay a little bills by having some sponsors kick in with their message. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
Yeah, I love the tone on that guitar. That was played by Mr. Paul Berezetsky, my COO right hand, left brain, whatever you want to call it. He's the creative guru around here, and he played that guitar track through Amplitude. I don't remember what patch. I think it was like a cross mix of different tones that we use, but we've got a few different cool patches from that. And Amplitude is created and invented and really, powered by the great minds over at IK Multimedia. And with that said, we have one of their incredible talents, Miss Starr Ackerman, here with us, talking about all things gear with IK Multimedia. So, Starr, welcome back. And we were talking a little bit earlier, about the history and the passions behind the products. And let's kind of dive a little bit. We talked a bit about Amplitude before. Tell us about the current version and what are some of the developments that you guys have done with that since it first started. I think I had Paul, what was it, 2 or 3? Oh, you don't have to answer, man. But I'm trying to remember. We had like one of the first versions of it. It came, it was part of the Sonar packages at some point too, as well. So we probably started with 2.
We used to bundle with Pro Tools and all the different DAWs just to get our name out there in the very beginning. It came, for example, Pro Tools was bundled with Amplitude, T-Rex, and Sample Tank. But Amplitude, like I said, has been in business now for 15 years. It is the most popular guitar and bass amps and effects software and the most downloaded that there is, being available on both Mac and PC and on iOS and Android.
Yeah. And I will honestly say I've tried a few different versions to see what they were, and it just didn't do it for me. I'm not just saying that because you're here, but frankly, I play bass, and when you go to the amp settings, it's so familiar. When you go to the pedals, everything feels like it's a real world experience. It's just on a screen. So,
that's because it was built by guitar players,
right? Yeah.
and by bass players, so that you don't have to fiddle around, and it has the right signal change. So it's like, okay, these are my stomp boxes, and these are my effects, and and here's the real chain of how it would actually work in the real world, but it's in software.
Yeah.
So, and so we are Amplitude is up to version 4.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, but I have been around since I was there to introduce Amplitude version 2.
That's when I started. With it on 2. I think it was Cakewalk. I can't remember, Cakewalk 7 or 8 when it came out, and I fell in love with it. So, and that's when I started learning about the company. And then I have the Sonic Synth. I have my brain's drawn a blank. The sample player, Samplitude. make life easy.
It's Sample Tank.
Sample Tank.
Yes.
So we've got a number of the different, and then through you've got a great user interface on your website too, where you're able to manage all of that, and then I came across T-Rex, and then that's what I master with everything. Even when I'm jumping in production, and every so often I'll jump into the production here for some audio editing or something like that. Actually, it's a lot more fun to me than doing all the CEO stuff. But I'll get in there and then I'll master with it, and it's just it's so organic. That's what for it being software, I would love to say that probably the best word I can say is it feels and interacts organically. So cool stuff. And
well, I used to work in radio before I worked in, in the audio industry, and T-Rex has been around for many years and has been used in countless recording studios and radio studios for just simple compression and things, and EQ and things like that. So T-Rex has really come a long way. The modeling is just incredible when you're talking about analog modeled gear, turning it into software. I mean, it's, when you go into some of the most expensive recording studios in the world and you look at all the hardware, I mean, all of that is available in T-Rex.
It is. And for a very, very small fraction of the price. Well, let's start with Amplitude. What's that going for, base price? And, obviously there's different modules. Can you break that down for us?
Well, we have the Amplitude Custom Shop, which is a free download.
Yep.
And you start there. And that way you can cherry pick your amps and effects as you go. So if you're a Fender fan, there is a collection you can purchase for Mac and PC, and that starts off at $149 if you want the amp, but if you want the full Amplitude 4 plus the Fender collection, it would be $229, and those are MSRP pricing. But if you wanted to just say, hey, I want to just check out these orange models, or I want to check out just some of these microphones, you can basically, cherry pick and buy things a la carte, and it doesn't have to break the bank. Now, if you're going to go to the iPhone and iPad versions, which is all the same sounds, mind you, let's say you wanted to work with Mesa Boogie, Amplitude Mesa Boogie, you could, the original Amplitude for iPad and iPhone is $19.99, but you can start with the free version and then just add packs as you go, in-app purchases as you go. So $20, for the full version of Amplitude for iPhone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The original Amplitude used to sell, 10 years ago for almost $500.
Yeah, that's
so you can see, a massive difference in being able to access this for all musicians. I mean, we're making it possible so anyone with a phone can access some of the best sounds in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a Fender. Fender collection as well. That you can Fender Collection 2. We just released that. You can download that from the App Store as an in-app purchase inside Amplitude, or you can purchase it for Mac and PC. That goes for, like I said, like $149.
Yeah.
And
in fact, I play often, probably more now, because I just haven't had the time to play clubs and concerts and stuff. But I do a lot of worship, and a lot of the guitar players are using that as their full effects processing. Moving away from having tons of pedals, and so I think it started off in obviously in the recording world, but it really has migrated quite extensively over to the stage. And I guess
the worship jumped on it. They have to probably be the smarter musicians because they don't want to lug around a lot of gear.
Yeah.
You got 150-pound amp that's costs you anywhere from $200 and up, versus your phone that you can have 40 amps in it.
Yeah.
Or an iPad, and you're good to go. All you got to do is bring your organic instrument with you if need be.
Exactly.
Or your keyboard controller.
There's nothing
and that's it.
Yeah, there's nothing like bringing your giant Ampeg tube amp with your 810s to a 100-seat church, so having that inside your iPad is so much more better. It's better on your back for sure. But that's why they use it, because it's easy, it's cost effective, and then it's in those kind of settings, sound control is a huge part. You can't be too loud for sure in those types of environments. But you don't want to miss out on the tone. You don't want that you don't want that to compromise the tone. So I think you guys have done a great job with that. And in the T-Rex, it starts off with a basic collection of different effects or different parts of the mastering chain. But what are those? And then from there, where can you grow your T-Rex system?
Well, we actually do it based on the same model as the Amplitude Custom Shop. There's the T-Rex Custom Shop, and you can cherry pick all of your gear there. But you could, if you were just going to start off with me, I would recommend going with the T-Rex Deluxe version.
Okay.
And then you have the full mastering suite. You'll have everything that you need there, like your classic EQs and, just your major setup that you would need to mix and master. You can take the plugins and put them on individual tracks within the song or within your broadcast recording, or you can master the entire mix using it as a standalone. There's so many different options, but T-Rex Custom Shop is a free download. I would encourage all broadcasters, musicians, to go ahead and download it and just start auditioning the gear. You can audition the gear for up to 48 hours before you purchase it.
That's awesome. Didn't quite have that option before. When I got it, I seen when the custom shop stuff came out, but I was already using all of the different versions. So and I highly recommend that to people. If you have certain effects, software effects, or even other things that you might use. Maybe you're hard set on the hardware, the physical hardware. I'd say give these a try, so you can really, get a chance to explore what can be done. And I think if you already have it and you have something, that you want to explore more, I think the custom shop ideas was brilliant. I wholeheartedly support it. And if I was starting all over again, I would definitely go that direction. So, with that said, with those products there that you've discussed, you've got so many other ones. Tell us a bit about let's kind of jump into interfaces. Let's start with the hardware. You've got a number of different pieces for the iPhone side of the house and for iPads. Tell us about that. Some of the Studio Suite stuff and all the fun items that you have there.
Okay, well, as I said before, IK Multimedia started off with the iRig, and the iRig was just a simple guitar, quarter-inch cable that would plug into your iOS, iPhone, iPad, or into your Mac or PC. And then you could, essentially record your guitar or bass or your microphone through that, and access different effects using either Amplitude or Vocal Live or any of our products. But iRig became a brand, and the brand is mobility. So now everything that has to do with our interface line of products starts off with iRig. So another interface, so we went from iRig to iRig HD. And that of course was, giving you much higher sampling rate, much cleaner sound. Instead of the analog, it became digital. And then we went to iRig Pro, and now we will be releasing the iRig Pro IO, which we announced back in January at Winter NAMM. We will be releasing that soon. And the iRig Pro IO is really the truly pocket-sized mobile studio interface. It's ultra compact. It has the ability you can plug in a quarter-inch for your instruments, so guitar, bass, keyboards. It has an NXLR with phantom power, so you can plug in any kind of microphone that you desire. And it also has MIDI available in it, so that you can control your MIDI controllers. On top of that,
wow.
It is powered by some AA batteries, so you can actually power your device with it instead of it drawing power from your device. So you can power your iOS device or your Android device, or you could just use it as an interface. But what it did was it solved there was an issue, if you don't remember, that with the iPhone 7 not having, an audio jack.
Oh yeah,
and
we've run into that a couple of times.
And our iRig product solved that. And the iRig Pro IO is no exception. It actually gives you back that 1/8-inch headphone output, so you can go live out to PA, or you can go to your headphones.
Yeah. So that's definitely it's definitely an advantage. No, we had a recording artist. I won't say any names. He said, "Yeah, I got a new track. I'm just working on. I want to play it." And we were like, "Great!" And he said, "Can you plug my iPhone in?" He said, "Yeah." We gave him an 1/8-inch plug, and he said, "Oh, I got the new 7." I was like, "Oh, jeez." Yeah, can you email it to us? And so I think he finally emailed it to us. But yeah, that was definitely. It would have been good if he had one of these, and he could have did his recordings and riding on the road with it. But now you've got two different versions. You do have one that will plug into the sixes and below through the headset, right?
Yeah. Well, this iRig Pro IO, when it comes out, it has multiple different. Yeah, it has multiple different connectors so that you can use it. It's all platform. So it's for Android, it's for iPhone, it's for iPad, it's for Mac and PC. So you have all the multiple. Oh, you can use it.
You can use it with a PC. That's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah.
What type of interface are you using to plug into a PC? I mean, obviously it'd be a USB, right?
Yes, USB.
Very cool.
It would be micro USB to USB, and then we have I mean, it depends on what you're using. If you need a lightning cable, it's lightning.
Yeah, and it works with Android devices too. There you go, Paul. Works with Android devices. Paul is controlling the all of the studio stuff. So we are going into a break here. So before we go into a break, let's get a shout out to all of the the URLs, Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff, so people can find out more about IK Multimedia.
Well, first and foremost, the best place to find out about our candy land of gear for musicians is ikmultimedia.com. And then, of course, on Facebook, we are at IK Multimedia.
And Twitter at IK Multimedia, is that correct?
Yeah, at IK Multimedia. And then we have a YouTube channel at, IK Multimedia YouTube channel. We pretty much own all of our names.
Very cool, very cool. Hey, well, we're going to take another pause for the cause here. This is Florentina with Starr on Changing Stage Radio Show, and we are IK Multimedia bound today.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Welcome to the Changing Stage, music gear talk from the manufacturers and musicians who define the biz. Here's your host, Florentino Buenaventura.
All right, this is the third segment of the Changing Stage radio show, powered by the mighty EnterTalk Radio Network. You're into all things music, and I haven't given a shout out to any of our sponsors yet, so I'm going to definitely take this time to do so. The biggest one, and the one that's near dear to our hearts, is the crazy crew down in National City, Mr. Calvin Lee and the bunch over at Pitbull Audio at pitbullaudio.com, and they are over there making sure that people are powered. And I've bought a number of IK Multimedia pieces from them, and then of course our friends over at SIR at SIR-USA.com. And SIR is the ones who backline all of the pretty much most of the tours that are going on, and they definitely do corporate events as well. So if you're in a business and you want to have some PAs, or you want to have a jam session for your company band, let them know. They'll power you that way. And then our good friends over at Showslinger at showslinger.com, and they're helping bands get booked. So with that said, we're talking to the incredible Starr from IK Multimedia, and we were just talking about the iRig gear. And one of the things that's really important to recognize is that that gear is, gets better than CD quality audio. So tell us a bit about that and finish up on that one.
Well, our interfaces, our iRig line of interfaces, the digital models are now, the sampling rate is up to 24-bit and 96 kilohertz fidelity recording, which is pretty great when you're talking about, something that fits in your pocket and will work with, any platform that's including Mac, PC, Android, iPhone, or iPad. So, once that truly is a very great recording studio interface, just with the iRig Pro, and then what we're coming out with now, which is called the iRig Pro IO. So those are going to be your latest and best choices if you need versatility. So if you want to plug in a bass guitar or a guitar, or a microphone, microphone of choice. And let's talk microphones for a second. What microphone are you using right now?
I'm actually using a Shure 58. So we keep it simple around here. Yeah. We right. And then our show hosts usually use the Blue the Yeti Pros. So that's what we get for them. It's and then we have some EV 20s around here at some of our other radio studios. So those are the ones we use. I cannot say that I've used a lot of IK Multimedia stuff, but I haven't tried the microphones. Tell us about them.
All right. Well, I wanted to mention that we have a software called Mic Room, and if you use it's available for Mac and PC, and it's also available from the App Store, called Mic Room, and it has 20 different microphone models.
Wow.
And some of those most expensive microphones in the world. Some of them that you just mentioned, but again, IK Multimedia's niche in the market has always been taking the greatest hardware and turning it into software. So if you use any of the IK Multimedia digital microphones, they are perfectly calibrated to work with Mic Room. So you could turn, your iRig Mic Studio microphone into a Neumann U87. And that is a very popular, radio host mic. And so since people are really dedicated, like, some radio hosts are, they only want to go into the studio just to use that Neumann, just to use it. And they will travel 40 minutes just to go use it. Well, with IK Multimedia's, iRig Mic HD or iRig Mic Studio, you don't have to leave your house anymore to do your recordings. You can have that same studio microphone sound with, an application that will work on your iPad that costs $7.99.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. You even have lav mics and directional mics that you plug right into your phone, and then it's just you use your phone as kind of the handle of it all, and so you've got a lot. You
want to hear a cool story?
Yeah, please.
You want to hear a cool story? All right. So at CES, I believe it was 2 years ago, we came out with the iRig Mic Lav, and the iRig Mic Lav was they actually daisy chain together, and they plug right into your iOS or your iPhone, your iPad, your Android, or into your Mac and PC, right? And so I got 24 hours notice that Flo Rida, who he's one of our endorsees for the iLoud, he was going to do a complimentary autograph signing and do some interviews at our booth. He would be there for about an hour. So I had about a little less than 24 hours notice on this. So I reached out to all of my favorite broadcasters at CES, and I said, hey, Flo Rida is going to be down at our booth. You should come and interview, and they were all like, oh my God, I would love to do that, but I can't leave my broadcast booth because I won't, I don't have any gear to record with. And I just laughed. I was like, do you have a phone? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, then you have your full recording studio. I've got a ton of iRig Mic Labs here. And so, the guys from Pop Sci came, just a bunch of people came down, and we were able to do almost 18 interviews from all the different radio personnel that were there, and Periscope people and, Periscope influencers and YouTube influencers, and they were able to do the Flo Rida interview just using their phones, either their iPhones or their Androids, and the iRig Mic Lav.
Wow. So they just plug that in, and then they would move on and go to the next interview and plug that in, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah. And then, so you folks know, I'm looking at it right now. You plug like you said, you plug your headphones in, you plug it onto your lapel, and you're able to go out and put your iPhone on your Android on your camera stand, and then you're out there. You're your own reporter. And you don't have to hold a physical mic, and you can kind of interact that way. So I think that is pretty awesome, especially with much more natural sounding interview when you don't have to shove a mic in someone's face. So usually, anytime you do that, people get scared, and they trip over their words. Definitely.
But talking about stabilizers, though, IK Multimedia also has a brand called the iClip, and it started off with, all right, now we've got this $700 iPhone and a way to play guitar with it, but how are we going to stabilize it and not have it fall off the table and crack and die? Same with the iPad. So we started off with the iClip series, and the first ones were, to attach your mobile phone or your tablet, your iPhone, your iPad, etc., to a mic stand. But then we also came out with a ton of other iClips, tabletop stands, iClip Studio, iClip Expand stand, just, so that people had stabilizers. Now we also have, if you wanted to have a whole setup, just you, and this is exactly what people use in the field today. You can have an iClip Grip Pro, which will stabilize your phone and either be used as a tripod, a monopod, or a selfie stick.
Yep.
Or you can use an iClip AV, which is like an amazing broadcast solution. So it completely stabilizes your phone, and it also has a microphone preamp inside it that connects directly into your phone, so that you can capture audio and not have to do time code later.
Yes.
So
that is awesome. We're looking at it right now. Very cool.
Yeah. So if you have the iClip AV, you can either hold it with your hand and stabilize it, or you can put it on a tripod and then, set it up, hit play, and use your wireless mic setup, and you are a one-man or woman show. You just released a job. Sorry about your sound guy. You just got rid of your sound guy, but you also got rid of a backpack full of stuff.
Yeah,
huge camera.
Yeah,
because
check this out.
Your phones are HD cameras. Your phones are already HD cameras.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. And a lot of news folks are kind of moving that direction. So that is definitely, it's very cool. I'm actually looking at it right now on the website ikmultimedia.com and checking it out. And I guess my question for you is, I do see the antenna, it looks like, on that. And does that amplify the signal, or what is the antenna used for? Is that for the wireless microphone?
The antenna. No, that is actually someone having like a Sennheiser setup. You know what I'm saying? Like a wireless mic setup.
Okay. There you go. Okay. Very cool. So
no, for example, this is how it was used last September at the Apple event. Every year in September, Apple, they introduce their new products. Well, Jeff Graham from USA Today was walking up with his iPhone and caught and his setup with an iRig Mic HD, and he caught KTLA's Rich DeMuro using the iClip AV and his wireless mic setup, and like they were filming each other, with all of our stuff waiting to go into this Apple event. I mean, and these are like top-notch broadcasters using these, very low-priced products to go out and get their high-quality video and audio using iRig Mic HD and iClip AV and iClip Grip Pro, things like that. So
yeah, you're a pro cameraman for $179, $180. That's amazing. That is amazing, and that's full retail. You never know what you're going to get with all the the kind of programs that are out there. So as way of pricing at different places, where would they can buy this on the website, but they could also buy this at the one of your music stores, or maybe even like a B&H. Is that correct?
B&H, Guitar Center, all of your favorite music retailers, brick and mortar, like stuff like that. Or, you go online and, Musician's Friend, Sweetwater, if you're going to go the musician's route. But if you wanted to go to, we are also a consumer electronics supplier. We are the leading provider of apps and accessories for the iOS and Android platform. So our products we're also available at Walmart, at Best Buy, places like that. So
yeah. And
just on iOS alone in the App Store, we have over 80 applications for music creation and broadcasting.
Wow, that is awesome.
That's just software. And that's not all the hardware.
And you're actually not just a lot of the music programs that are on in the app stores are they're games or they're fun things to play with for a short time, but you're actually making real music with your software. Even on your phone, you can, like you said, you can run your full guitar rig right there. So, and then we've got a few minutes left. I want to kind of touch on the fact that you guys have moved into keyboards a little bit, and you've got the whole iRig line of keyboards and groove controllers and all that other fun stuff. Share with us a little bit about that.
Well, anything that you can do, basically we've made it so that a whole band can play on stage just using their phones or their tablets, and an iRig product, and come out with and come out of the speaker with an iLoud. So you have a whole mobile studio setup. So if you're a keyboard player, you could, plug in your iRig keys, your iRig Keys Pro. There is a possibility that we may come out with another controller, but like let's say you're a DJ, DJ Jazzy Jeff, he uses iRig pads on stage.
Awesome.
I mean, just everything that you think of that you can do musician-wise, you can do with one of our iRig products. For example, almost every single music creation commercial that Apple has come out with, where they show people using applications and accessories to play, we are always included, whether that's an interface like the iRig or Amplitube, or, someone playing drums. They were playing it through an iRig Pro, and they were using sample triggers from Sample Tank, and that was all through iOS. So you can do pretty much anything you want if you just apply yourself and think a little bit more portable.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, we've got,
and those same sounds from Sample Tank are the same ones that were played in Eminem's, Lose Yourself track. Those are the same sounds. They're just ported to iOS.
Awesome. We've got about 2 minutes left, and I know we wanted to talk a little bit about the industry, but there's so many cool products that you guys have. Share with us a little bit what we could experience at NAMM, Summer NAMM, and then is there anything that you can share with us about Winter NAMM?
Well, Summer NAMM is going to be definitely great with our new releases. We are coming out. We did the pre-order announcement for Syntronic, and we will likely be shipping that at Summer NAMM. Syntronic is 60 gigabytes of 38 modeled synthesizers, and we're talking about models based on the Moog synthesizers and all the awesome stuff that you've seen on stages, samples and synths. So we're really excited about that release. And of course, the iRig Pro IO will likely be shipping during that time as well. So
Awesome. Well, we're going to be there with you folks. In fact, if you're listening, stay tuned for July. It's going to be the 12th through the 15th, I believe. We'll be over there, and we're going to be getting some good video footage, so we'll be sharing that on the website as well. And talking to Starr over there a little bit more in depth than some of the product specialists, kind of giving some text and specs on some of that stuff as well. But you've obviously given us more than we need to know. You got to buy IK Multimedia stuff. It's pretty cool. I know that we do over here. So I definitely appreciate you. IKMultimedia.com. Folks, go take a look at IK Multimedia for, Twitter, and then, just type in IK Multimedia in Facebook search and go like them. So I think that'll be very cool. Any last thing you want to say? We got about 20 seconds left, Starr.
I just want to say to all the musicians out there, never give up on your dreams, because everything that you say or do at the end of the day could be all about making music. And if you keep following your dreams, there's so many different jobs in this world you could do that aren't making music, and why stop?
Yes.
The more music in the world, the more music you have in the world is a better place. And that is directly quoting our CEO, Enrico Iordi.
Yes, exactly. And that's our message as well here at Intertalk Radio. We just wanted to make sure that people know about all the cool gear and all the cool artists. And with that music kicking in, that is it. This has been the Changing Stage Radio Show special broadcast on a Thursday with Starr Ackerman from IK Multimedia. Stay tuned. We'll be back with them again towards the July time frame, and we'll be able to show you some video of all this cool stuff. Thanks for staying tuned, and make sure that you tune in tonight for Sharpen the Axe. Thank you.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be the music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?